The Music of Life, written by I Am the Realm Jumper. Read by I Am the Realm Jumper. No! The great Octavia, a great uprising star in the world of classical music, had worked her hooves to the bone to get to where she was now. Hitting the wall again. Try as she could not find the right way to end her latest, and perhaps her crowning piece, and ripped the offending score page off of her desk and proceeded to trample it into the carpet before sitting down on her haunches for a moment to patent. Hey, Octi? Are you okay in there? Her roommate called through the barred door. Octavia had learned long ago that the only way to ensure peace and quiet was to bar her door, so her over-exuberant DJ could not waltz in, bursting through the door, while her mind was alight with the tunes that would so easily flow to her effortlessly. With a sigh, Octavia went to the door, using her hind legs to push the bookshelf she was using to barricade herself in. The door opened to reveal a worried-looking Vinyl Scratch, white fur and horn glistening from the bath she had just taken, her red eyes staring wide at the disheveled earth pony, and her hair hanging down, yet magically blow-dried. "Octi," Vinyl breathed, looking at Octavia and then the room. "What happened? It's like I threw a 3-day rave in here and forgot to pay the cleaning crew. You okay?" Octavia's one immaculate figure was now disheveled. Her hair a rat's nest, pink bow tie askew, great fur rumpled, purple eyes red-rimmed from a lack of sleep and bitter tears. "Vinyl, is this important?" Octavia demanded tearfully. She couldn't keep it together any longer. Something inside of her snapped so hard and painfully she just couldn't keep it in anymore. Throwing her hooves around her roommate, Octavia burst into tears. "Vinyl," she cried. "It just won't come. I can't finish it," she sobbed. Vinyl, who wasn't expecting such a display of raw emotion from Miss Prissypants, awkwardly wrapped a leg around her friend. It's okay, Octi. You'll figure it out." She patted her back. "Octi, I'm not gonna lie, but you're freaking me out a little." Octavian either didn't hear this last part or didn't care, because she hugged tighter. Vinyl felt like she couldn't breathe. "Okay," the white unicorn sat down and used both legs to pry her hysterical roommate off of her. "Get a hold of yourself, Octavia." That snapped her out of it. Vinyl had never used her full name unless she was being serious. More than a little ashamed, Octavia turned to her thrashed room, staring back at the blank score sheet that was supposed to be the last page of her masterpiece. She had spent months on it, and now she was so close to finishing it. But "It's no use," she sighed, shaking her head. "I give up." "Oh, no, you didn't," Vinyl snapped. The DJ was sporadic at most times, but she would never let her best friend give up on something she worked so hard to do. "Come on, we'll be late." Octavia blinked as she turned around in surprise. "Late? Late for what?" "The concert," Vinyl replied. "So brush your mane, get your hindquarters to the door in 5, because I'm gonna take you to hear a very special pony, and then you can whine and whine some more about your lack of expression. Get it? 5 minutes, down to the door. Done, done, done." With the intensity of her friend's statement, Octavia turned to the mirror and did as she was told. 5 minutes later, she was waiting patiently by the front door. Vinyl came down the stairs, absent of her usual DJ glasses, wearing a Is that a ribbon in your hair? Octavia asked in mild surprise. Cute, isn't it? The DJ asked. Yeah, not really my style, but we're going... It will be better for what we're seeing. You'll see. About that, Octavia started to say, feeling guilty that her best friend was trying so hard to help her out of a slump. I've got to be truthful, Vinyl. I don't really... On we go, Vinyl cut in. Not letting you out of this. And with that, grabbed the mare, not letting her finish her sentence, and strolled right out the door. They walked in silence to the concert hall, which was in the center of town. That is when Vinyl confessed that she wanted to take Octavia to the concert and got the tickets a few weeks ago. But the musicians fortified herself in her room for days and days at a time. Vinyl just never had a good time to bring it up. The two ponies stood in line, giving their tickets to the ushers, and made their way down the rows until they sat at the very front, where they could see everything perfectly on the low-set stage. How did you get such good seats? Octavia asked breathlessly, looking for the first time at the program. The legendary flute player Bara van Hoofen was playing with the local orchestra, a special concert where all the bits would go to a drive to donate to the Bit of Music Foundation. Funny story about that, Vinyl said, flushing slightly. Truth is, Bara and I, we're kind of fans of each other. And so, we've been pen paling for a while. It started a while back, but when I heard that he was coming in town, he actually sent me a couple tickets. Octavia's mouth fell open. You know Bara van Hoofen? Shh! Keep your voice down. You want everybody here to know? Sorry, but Vinyl blushed a little more. Jeez, it's just pen pals. Shut your trap already. Octavia looked away, settling herself back to enjoy the evening. Vinyl had done a lot of things for her in the past, meaning well, of course, but this was one of the first times she felt like she was actually going to enjoy herself. Every pony stomped their hooves as Baron von Hoofen took his spot on the stage, and the concert began. Octavia's heart melted as Bara's melody soared, flitting around like a bird in spring, then fell into a low dirge, as if the winds were blowing through the reeds in the fall. She stomped her hooves the hardest at the end of the concert, turning to her friend. That was amazing. See, Vinyl smiled. Glad you came. Yes, it was truly remarkable. Octavia bubbled in awe. Like to meet the stallion behind the flute? For the second time that evening, Octavia's mouth fell open. You mean we can? Like, really? Vinyl laughed. Come on, Bowtie. I'll introduce you to him. And so the two friends went on stage and made their way back to the changing room. Octavian smiled at the many ponies she knew and often played with in previous concerts. Since she began working on her latest symphony, Vala Luna, the latest special tribute to the return of Luna that would be performing at Her Highness's next birthday, if she could finish it. She hadn't seen many of her usual friends in a while. Tonight, the thought of her unfinished piece brought a shiver of anxiety. Bara! Vinyl cried loudly, even though that the brown stallion with the flute for a cutie mark was only a few feet away with his back turned to them. I must say, that last trilly riff, that was sick! Like one talented stallion you are. Bara turned and smiled. Why, thank you, Vinyl. It's been a while, hasn't it? Vinyl blushed, and Octavia guessed they were maybe just a little more than pen pals. Yeah, Did you get my last track I sent you? Oh, yes, Bara smiled. How did it go? He dropped low, striking a rock pose. I won't say no. I won't say yes. I'll just admit I'm the fucking best. He sang out, head banging, his mane flying everywhere. Vinyl's cheeks burned. Yeah, I should change that last part, she muttered. Oh, hey, this is my friend I was telling you about in my latest letter, Octavia. Octavia, meet the wicked master of the flute, Bara. Pleasure, Bara said, bowing his head and smiling. The pleasure is all mine, Octavia smiled. Bara, Vinyl asked, why don't you tell Octavia the story behind your symphony? Octavia blinked. That was your symphony? The brown stallion smiled and laughed in embarrassment. Yeah. Matter of fact is, I wrote it last summer. Octavia, do you know what cystic fibrosis is? The gray mare shook her head. It's a lung disease where mucus grows on your lungs and other organs. It restricts the flow of air and makes it very hard to breathe. It's not curable, but treatable with, oxygen machines and breathing exercises. I was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis when I was a young foal. Octavia's eyes grew wide. I loved music as a foal and always wanted to play the flute, but no one thought I could do it. It takes so much air, and my airways were always clogged. As if to prove the point, Bara started coughing violently a few times. Without thinking, Vinyl went to Bara's side, looking worriedly at his face. It was then that Octavia's suspicions were confirmed, and she realized that Bara von Hoofen was a full head taller than her mare friend. Pardon me. He apologized after coughing fit was over. No one thought I could play the flute. Until I met Vinyl. Vinyl? Octavia repeated. I thought you two were just pen pals. We grew up in the same town, Vinyl explained. The fillies and fools at school used to make fun of him since he didn't play the same silly games as them. Yeah, kind of stupid like that. I stood up for him. I told him that I dreamed of becoming a DJ, and he told me that he wanted to play the flute. I didn't laugh. We made each other promise that we would become the greatest DJ and flute player Equestria has ever seen. And that's how it all started out, Bara continued. Vinyl moved away a few years later, and for a while we lost contact. I practiced hard, and when I started to get noticed, Vinyl found out where I was staying at and started writing me. We kept in contact ever since. Octavia was at a loss of words. The tragic story of loss of a dream, only to become realized again because of a friendship, to blossom into more, fired her mind, fueled her passion. The two contradicting melodies that she saw before her blended, sinking in a chord that was so beautiful. Tears came to her eyes. Octi, you okay? Vinyl asked, noticing tears running down her friend's cheeks. Yes, she said. Yes, I am. I'm more than all right. Will you two excuse me? I have a symphony to finish. And with that, she turned and bolted back towards the door, galloping home, not bothering to shut the front door behind her as she cantered up the stairs and walked to her blank score sheet, no longer seen blank, but filled with notes that weren't there yet. Picking up her quill, she started to mark them, thinking of the beautiful clash of melody that was the music of life.